Hey everyone, welcome to this video. So as you said, who must comply with PCI DSS? Remember, we talk of PAN, talk of SAP, we've discussed other aspects, merchant and the like. We went through the workflow. But now let's try to understand who should comply with PCI DSS. It says organizations storing, processing, or transmitting cardholder data, PAN, service code, or expiration date. And our picture, on the next slide, it definitely covers all what we'll be discussing so far. We already know what the PAN entails, and then we'll talk of the SAP. We already know what that entails as well, right? But what of outsourcing entities? If a third party handle cardholder data, those third party must still ensure data protection through PCI DSS. And that's why we went to spend some time discussing on processor and all the like, right? Or third service provider, right? And that's why if they also handles debit or credit card transactions, then they also need to be in compliance with PCI DSS. But even entities not directly handling PAN or sensitive data may need to comply if they impact the security of the data, e.g. the infrastructure providers. So even if they are not directly, processing or handling the PAN or SAP, just the fact that they provided infrastructure where information will have to pass through that, they have to be in compliance with PCI DSS. And this is one of the things that when I was doing it, I felt the need to cover the networking video. Because had it been we didn't have that networking video, I bet you people will barely understand this concept. Doesn't matter if it's thorough or in-depth. And that's why I spend this additional time or put some time aside to go in there that we can understand. And again, if you are new here, or advise you to go to the networking playlist, make sure you understand everything on that networking playlist before you can even come watch these videos. Because you guys will see shortly, by the time we start going to firewall routers and all those things, we won't spend much time because we covered those videos like in depth. Okay. So let's talk about infrastructure in PCI DSS. In the context of PCI DSS, infrastructure refers to the underlying systems, hardware, software, and networks that support the processing, storage, or transmission of cardholder data. Even if an entity doesn't directly handle cardholder data like the PAN or the SAP, that's a sensitive authentication data, they must still need to comply, or they may still need to comply with PCI DSS if their infrastructure impacts the security of cardholder data. I hope this makes sense. Some example of what constitutes infrastructure under PCI DSS. Do you see? Firewalls, routers, switches, information will have to go through these devices or this medium or whatever. Remember, firewall, you are putting how they call inbound or outbound traffic. You are actually specifying rules and enable some certain protocol and disabling. And because of doing that, that way communication can pass through. What of switches? Do we talk of MAC addresses? How information is being delivered? What of routers, right? Route, you choose the best route. That's how the information, everything that we've discussed, it don't just happen by magic. See, you have to go through the infrastructure. And that's why we said that though a tech or a company simply provides this infrastructure, even though they are not directly involved in the transaction of PAN or SAP, they also need to be in compliance with PCI DSS. And that's why he said that these are used to segment networks and control access to and from cardholder data environment. We'll talk of cardholder data now. We'll start talk of the environment where you literally have everything, right? These devices help ensure that cardholder data remains secured and protected from unauthorized access. And again, as I said, there's just a way I could have just gone and be explaining this stuff without providing at least a basic networking video, okay? And I'm grateful for all the beautiful comments I have seen. You guys have reached out. Like, I'm happy you all are enjoying that particular playlist, right? We have network architecture. The way systems are organized, such as internal versus external network segments, can impact security. If any infrastructure component interacts with a CDE card data environment or has access to it, PCI DSS may apply. Do you see? So if any infrastructure component interacts with card data environment, the environment that everything happens, or has access to it, then PCI DSS may apply. Do you see how interesting this whole thing is? And if you look here, we see cardholder environment, you have segmented network, and we definitely have the different devices, firewall, switches, or router that we've explained. But what is firewall? So initially, I had prepared the slides before even preparing the networking slide. I think I prepared close to 789, as I can see. Then after doing it, I was like, I have to go do the networking videos. That way people can understand. As of now, we know our firewalls can act as the gatekeeper, the filter that filter incoming and outgoing traffic. And I won't spend much time here. As I said, I expected everyone to have at least watched all the networking videos. That way they can fully understand this concept. And we talk of the fact that firewall will either allow or deny rules, depending on the type of protocol and port that organization wants to go with. And as a matter of fact, we mentioned HTTPS. Why would an organization want to go with HTTPS over HTTP? Why would an organization want to go with SFTP over FTP? Again, go to the network video and watch it and put your comment, put that comment in the comment section. But in DSS context, a firewall protects your cardholder data environment by ensuring that only authorized traffic, such as payment requests, can access your system, while unauthorized traffic like hacking attempt is blocked. Do you see? And the course of doing that, transaction communication happens. And that's why we said that it has to be in compliance with PCI DSS or might definitely apply, right? And this is exactly what we'll be discussing. You see the internet, if you are transferring file, file transfer protocols, on trusted network, again, or you put a firewall and HTTPS. This is something that I believe you all must have seen and really understand just by, a first glance, or just by looking at this slide. Firewall configuration, and you being as an assessor, but what are those things that you're going to be looking for? Say you want to have your organization achieve compliance. What are those things you're going to be looking for? For example, what the assessor is looking for: properly configure rules. The firewall should have rules that controls access between trusted and untrusted network, e.g. internal and external network. This is your job. This is exactly what you're going to be doing. You guys must have documented that on your policy. And based on what you have on your policy, you want to ask the right questions. You want to make sure that those rules has been properly configured, right? Least privilege. Only necessary services and protocols should be allowed through the firewall. For example, a payment system should only allow traffic on a secure protocol of HTTPS and a port of 443. That's a default port for HTTPS. You understand? So this is some of the things that, again, once you're working for the organization, you also want to ask. And if you see them now, you already know why we are making such claims, right? This just makes sense. Again, go back to the networking video, and I bet you will understand. Another thing that you're going to be looking for blocking unnecessarily traffic, right? All unnecessarily or unused port services protocol should be blocked. So make sure that you guys do not have any open ports. And we are going there because by the time we start going to the controls, this is some of the things that the control requirements, right? Deny by default. Firewall should be configured with a deny all default policy, meaning it blocks all traffic except the specific type allowed. That's whitelist. Whatever thing that you allowed. So by default, make sure you block everything. But this is something that you all configure. For example, the firewall should be set up to allow only HTTPS traffic, port 443 for web server, while it should block FTP port 21 or other unnecessary protocols that are not safe, right? And this gives us a good example of all what we'll be discussing. Remember, now are you guys seeing that? Now when you see, now you understand why do we have this here. Again, with your knowledge of the networking video, I bet you this diagram or slide is well explicit. And you see one where you're going to allow, you see the one that you're going to block or deny, and that's how they will enable rules. And you see firewall rule setting. If you want to ask the configuration setting, they will take a screenshot and they will provide it, and you should be able to explain and read from this, correct? Yeah. Then the next one has to do with access control list, right? So I think I'm just going to end this diagram here. I'll take one piece at a time. We'll talk about firewall, we'll talk about access control list, and then we'll talk about routers and the like. But I'm just going to try and break down the videos. That way, it's not too lengthy and boring. And a lot of you all have told me that, yeah, you prefer the fact that they have, like, of a good length, like 10-minute max. That way people can even fall back, watch it and over again and take their time to understand the concept better. So with this, I will see you people in the next slide or next video, where we'll talk about access control list and then router and the rest. I'll see you all. And do not forget to subscribe, like, and share. Bye. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.